Hey guys, I know I haven't brought Cyber Dragon content in a while, so thanks for being patient. But now we do have the new ban list, and I thought I'd show off what I made changes to. So starting off, I decided to actually main deck Lancia, and I actually like it. I mean, of course, Dinos, it's great against them, but it's also good against other top decks like Dragon Link, Bird Up, and it's actually been surprisingly really good against rogue matchups as well. And worst case, it is a light monster, so you can always pitch it off for Galaxy Soldier. And now, ironically enough, in the replays that I'm going to show you, they were actually against decks where Lancia was not good at all, but I still like it in the main, and you can easily switch it up for something like Nibiru instead if that's what you're more comfortable with. I also decided to just go with 6 hand traps and focus more on board break cards. So for example, if you saw Ryan use second place list at the LCS, he played Dinos, it's a going second deck. He actually only played 3 hand traps in the main, which were Gamma, and then the rest he played cards like Dark Rule No More and Lightning Storm, and I like that approach as well. I always liked more board break cards, except in the previous formats we had hand rip Infernobles, or with VFD Turbo you wanted to stop them from making VFD in the first place through hand traps, but now I find it's a lot easier to play more board break cards, and also because I'm playing Pot of Prosperity, which takes up space for hand traps that you would have normally played with, I do find that this works out really well. And another hand trap you could actually try out too, if you don't want to play Prosperity, is Phantasme, which has been seeing more play lately, and it can help you shuffle your hand as well, so that's a really good alternative, I think. And because of all those changes, I did have one extra spot in the side, so I decided to just put in another Kaiju for now. I mean, against Dragon Link, or there's also a lot of Dragoon Turbo decks nowadays, so just a good out for that, and just to fill that one extra space I had. And then the last change, I would say I'm trying out Cyber Eternity Dragon instead of the Mechaba. Now realistically, whether it's Mechaba or this, I just banish it off Prosperity anyways, but I found myself that, I never really, I hardly resolved, Mechaba's effect in the rare times that I brought it up, so I thought maybe I'll try Eternity Dragon instead, because at least when this is engraved, you can banish it on your turn, and then your fusion monsters, they get targeting protection, and they also cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if you ever end up summoning any of these 3 guys later in the game for that final push, it could potentially come handy. I'm not married to the idea, I'm just trying it out, and I might just go back to Mechaba, but I thought I should be open to giving it a try, and it does have 4,000 defense, so it's definitely a unit, and yeah, so I thought I'd try that out. So now in terms of replays, I always like to bring at least one tier 1 deck in these replays, but to be honest with you, I find myself just like not being matched up against them at all, and I just been going up against rogue decks, and that's sort of common at the start of the new format on Dueling Book, where you kind of grind your way up and you go through a lot of sometimes new players as well, and that's sort of the downside, although the plus side is you can rack up some easy free wins at the start of the format. But anyways, let's just show you 2 replays against rogue decks, Adamancipator and Salamangreat. Alright guys, so the first replay is against Adamancipator, a deck that was once considered the best deck in the format, but of course has fallen off quite a bit since. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see the Skullmeister here, because this is actually a slightly outdated list. I would have replaced this with Lightning Storm in the more updated version. So our opponent is going to start off with the Shade Brigandine, and he's going to summon off the Analyzer, use that effect, and he's going to be able to summon out the Quackimera Guardian. Next, he's going to overlay, go into Gallant Granite, going to search off that Researcher, and Special the Researcher, use her effect, and he's going to be able to bring out the Blue Egg, and then be able to draw a card off that effect. Then he is going to link off into Halqifibrax, use that effect, and also going to chain with Parallel Exceed, so that's going to be brought out. Halqifibrax brings out the zombie, and the Exceed brings out another Exceed, and they are now level 4s. But now he is going to link them off for the Appaloosa with 3 not counters, but 3 negates, and he's going to go Synchro into Raptite, going to use Adamancipator's Signs, bring out that Analyzer, and he is going to stack the Seeker on top of the deck. Now he can use Raptite's effect, and of course he knows he's going to hit the Seeker, so well, he activates effect first, but he actually has to bring the cards back to the bottom of the deck first. And now he uses Seeker, and he's going to bring out the Supplier. And of course with supply, he's going to be able to add his other Quackimero friend, Guardian. Next, he goes into Crystal Wing Synchro, and then into Savage, and Savage is going to equip the Hulk, and at end phase he does have to reveal a rock for Quackimero Guardian. And so we are dealing with Appaloosa with 3 negates, another monster effect negate, and an Omni negate, and another monster negate, so very monster negate heavy here. So pretty formidable board, and I wasn't actually quite sure how well I would break this. It really depended on what he negated. So I do start off with the emergency, and he negates the activation with Savage. Do not do this. So now, because of emergency effect, I'm going to pitch to Skullmeister, which has been useless, and I'm going to be able to add back that emergency. And because the activation was negated, I can still use it this turn. Of course, if you did something like Ash, then you cannot use it again that same turn. So he probably realized his mistake. So I'm actually going to add the original Cyber Dragon, which you don't do often, but against an Appaloosa, it's actually great. So I'm going to special the Cyber Dragon, and I am going to go into Mega Fleet. And then at this point, I actually decided to special the Pankratops too, because it is a little bit higher, and I just wanted to get over the Quackimero Guardian first. And in main phase 2, I am going to use Pank, just force out that negate of Crystal Wing because I'm trying to destroy it. And now we are good to go. So I'm going to use Core's effect to search, and I'm going to add the Repair Plant. So I activate it, although now at this point I realize, you know what, I've summoned 4. Let's just go into Anaconda first. So this way, Anaconda is my 5th summon, so if he has the Nibiru, it would force that out, otherwise Dragoon's coming out. But he does not do anything, which means he most likely does not have it. So now I can actually use the Soldier play, and I'm going to add the Cyber Dragon and the Galaxy Soldier. Do it again. We are going to overlay into Nova, use Nova's effect. Oh, rather, sorry, I'm just going straight into Infinity at this point. And we're going to use Anaconda to bring out Dragoon. And we are going to pop both, and it's going to be a massive damage. So I do decide to just suck up Anaconda. He is very low life points, so I don't need to try to, use Anaconda to bring out Rampage. And he tries to Gamma that effect, which of course I can just negate with Infinity. So there's that, and we broke that board and have a pretty good presence of our own. And looks like he actually just scoops. So now game 2, I suspected he may make me go first. So I actually decided in the summon limit. So it actually came up really clutch here. Now, I thought about just starting with the emergency to bait out the Ash. But the problem is, with that emergency, of course, you were probably adding the Hertz to try to do the Galaxy Soldier play. But I know he has the Gamma. So if I add the Hertz and he Gammas the Core, then my turn is just over there. So I actually decided to summon the Core first just to see if he has the Gamma. Because if he does, then I can just add the Core off of emergency and just for a follow-up play next turn. So he does have the Ash, and of course in that instance, it would have been better to start off the emergency. But you don't know that, and this was kind of the safer option. So now I am going to add the Naxter, and I'm just going to pitch off the Kaiju. So this play, it's not as efficient anymore, because now once I go into Dragoon, I'm not going to have a negate left because I hard drew one of the materials. But summon limit against Adamancipator is usually pretty game, so I am just going to set and pass a turn there. I don't have any negate. He's going to summon the Doki Doki, and that's fine. He's going to summon the Seeker. At this point, I should have just flipped the summon limit in case he just summoned another monster. I was kind of greedy. I waited till he activated Seeker's effect, but I do use the summon limit there. And so he's just going to attack over Anaconda. That's totally fine. Probably not killing him next turn either, but at least he's kind of stuck here, and I draw the Nibiru, so it's not great. So I am just going to pop both of his monsters, and we're just going to attack. So for turn end, well, looks like he just concedes. So summon limit, honestly, this has been my side choice for a long time, and I really do like it. So on to the next replay. Alright, so on to our second replay of the day is against Salamangreat, another deck that was once considered tier 1, and also another deck where Lancia is actually does nothing against, but yet I'm main decking it. But again, I do like it, and feel free to play something else instead. So he is going to start off with the Flame Buffalo, and going to link that off into Balinks. Pretty bread and butter play there. So he's going to add off the Sanctuary with the Balinks. And then with the Buffalo, he's going to discard the Jack Jagger to draw 2, and he rips the Circle and adds the Gazelle. So this is looking very optimal for the Salad player. He's going to play the Sanctuary, relink into Balinks, trigger the Gazelle, Now Gazelle will trigger again, and he's going to be able to Foolish the Falco. And Falco will bounce back the Gazelle to special it. And then he is going to link into Sunlight Wolf, which now triggers the Parallel Exceed. So he's going to special another one, and also Sunlight Wolf triggers. And he's going to be able to add back the Falco to hand from grave. And now the Parallel Exceeds are out, and they are now considered level 4s. So he can just overlay into Abyss Dweller. And then now he's going to use Jack Jagger, return that Balings to the extra deck, special it. He's going to link into Sunlight Wolf. And then now he can use Sunlight Wolf's effect to add back these circles. So very, very efficient play here. And now he even has 4 cards to set. So this is actually looking really scary. Salad is a good matchup for us, but with 4 back row, that's pretty hard. So he is going to shotgun the Dweller. And well, I'm going to special the Cyber Dragon. And he does unfortunately have the Rage. And now he also triggers the Gazelle because he sent the Falco. And Sunlight Wolf is going to be able to add the Buffalo. The Falco is going to be able to reset the Rage. And then now with Gazelle, he's going to dump the Foxy. So I'm going to next special the, or normal summon the core uses effect, but it's met with the Solemn Strike. So he really had everything. I'm just going to scoop. I'm not going to bother. And we are just going to go straight into game 2. And we're still going to choose to go second. You know, we have a lot of board back row hate cards. And Nibiru is also very, very useful against Salad. So he is going to start off with the Foxy. And he gets Gazelle again. Wow, that is very, very good. Next, he is going to link off into Balings, trigger also the Gazelle, and, well, technically, Balings too. So he's going to add the Sanctuary, and then Gazelle, he's going to Foolish the Rage, which is a good choice against Cyber Dragons to pop before we contact fuse them. He's going to go into Sunlight Wolf, and he has Parallel Exceed yet again. So, of course, he's going to trigger both effects. So Sunlight Wolf will add back that Gazelle back to hand, and Parallel Exceed will summon another Exceed. And of course, at this point, I am just going to drop the Nibiru. I find, you know, at the start of when, I guess, Rise of the Duelist was it, or Eternity Code, I suppose, when it came out, Salad also played Traptex Rafflesia to do Gravekeeper's Trap Hole to try to negate Nibiru, but I don't think they really play that anymore. So we are just going to start off with the Prosperity because we need some back row hate. So let's see here. Oh, wow. And as our 6th card, we actually do rip the Feather Duster. And of course, our opponent is going to take half damage this turn because of Prosperity. Remember that effect. It's very, very easy to forget, I find. So we are going to clear that back row, double Torrential. That's looking pretty good. So we are going to go Machine Dupe Hertz into Cyber Dragon. Then Nova. And Infinity. I initially thought about, you know, getting a little bit more greedy, use Nova's effect, and, you know, bring out like Anaconda, Dragoon, and use the Overload Fusion and bring out, or rather, I would have to use the Overload Fusion first, bring out Rampage, and then Anaconda and Dragoon. But I did the math, and with the half damage, I believe it was actually still a little bit short of 8,000. So I decided to just play it more conservatively and just bring out Infinity and Dragoon, and we'll do more damage later. I mean, it's kind of hard for Salad to out Dragoon. I think their only option is really just going into Access Code Talker, which does involve a few resources. So we are just going to do some half damage here. And we're going to set the Overflow, and we're just going to suck up the Anaconda just in case. Well, actually, we have the Overload Fusion, so we can't use its effect anyway, so that's why I sucked it up. And he does actually concede here. So we are going into game 3. And I actually thought he would make me go first, but it turns out I'm still going second. But luckily, I did still have the red reboot sided. So I'm feeling pretty good, although it would have been nice to have the Nibiru. So he's going to do the same play, Buffalo, Balings. It's pretty good. So add the Sanctuary. He's going to discard the Falco, draw 2. And then now it's Sanctuary, and he just sets 1 and pass. So perhaps he was worried about the Nibiru playing it safely, but I suspected there was probably some hand traps there at some point. So I'm just going to actually banish 3 because I have a pretty good hand, and he does have the Ash. And so now I am still able to do full damage because he negated the effect of Prosperity. So we are going to just search off the Repair Plan with the core. Link off into Almirage. I'm not contact fusing. I want him to have a monster just in case he also plays Gamma. So we'll suck that up at the end with Infinity. So we are going to use Soldier, get the Cyber Dragon, and another Soldier. Next, we do it again. And at this point he does play Torrential, which I unfortunately sack him with the red reboot. And to be honest with you, even if he had something like Nibiru, because of the ref system, I can actually play through that quite well. So he also changes his mind, sets the strike instead, although little does he know it's going to get popped. So I am going to use Nova's effect. He doesn't Nibiru at this point, so we are pretty clear. We are going into Anaconda, use that effect. We're pretty low on life, so always when you use red reboot, make sure you actually have enough life points for Anaconda before summoning out. You don't want to waste that and go into it and realize you can't activate the effect. And so we are going to resolve that, bring out the Rampage, and we are going to pop both of his back row. So that's feeling pretty good. And we're going to, of course, send 2 light machines so we can attack 3 times this turn. And finally, like I said, use Infinity last so that he couldn't use Gamma up until now if he had it or played it even. So we are going to enter battle. He does take full damage, and that is the end of the match. Alright guys, so that was it for the first Cyber Dragon testing for this format after the March ban list. Hope you enjoyed that. I really like this format for Cyber Dragons. I think it's much easier to go second now compared to the last 2 formats. Anyways guys, look forward to hearing how you change your list for this new format, and take care.